Hey guys, welcome back to the OrtoTech Garage. My name's Keith. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about checking your oil, what to do if your level is low, why your oil might be low, some things you can do to remedy the situation, how to top it off, all that good stuff. I know this seems like a very simple topic for a lot of people, but I can tell you for a fact, I've been in this business a long time, a lot of my clients don't even know how to check their own oil. They don't know where to add it. They don't know what kind of oil to put in it. We're going to go over all these topics with you right now. Let's just get into it. If you're anything like my clients, you probably understand that you need to service your oil regularly. It's important to get clean oil in the system, but you also need to check your oil at regular intervals in between your oil changes. It's possible for your oil to run low, and the oil is very critical to the operation of your engine. It serves two main functions. One is to help keep the engine from overheating, and the other one is to lubricate all the internal engine parts. If your oil runs low, you're going to be greatly diminished your capacity to do either one of these things, which can lead to catastrophic engine damage. There are a couple of reasons your engine oil could be low. It's possible you have an oil leak somewhere, it's dripping out, maybe you don't see it on the ground, it's catching in one of the lower engine covers somewhere. It's also possible you're consuming oil. Now, in a normal engine, oil consumption is really not normal. There are some manufacturers out there that will tell you you can burn a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. I think this is complete nonsense. If you have got a good engine, there's no reason your engine should lose a drop of oil between oil services, 3,000, 5,000 miles. It really doesn't matter. The importance of checking the oil is to identify that you have a problem. You may not notice anything different for 10 oil changes in a row. You're checking your oil pretty regularly, and then all of a sudden you start losing oil, and it's going to show up for you. So really important that we're getting the oil checked on regular intervals. Let me show you how this is done. All right, we're back in the garage. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how to check this oil, what it's going to look like, and what to do if we need oil on here, where to add the oil. Every car is going to be a little bit different, but I'm going to walk you through a couple scenarios. I'm going to try to find you a couple examples here in the garage that we can go through. First question I get asked often is, does the car need to be hot or warmed up before you check the oil? And the short answer is no. Engine oil does expand like every fluid. When it warms up, as it gets hotter, it expands a little bit, but it's not going to expand at the rate where it's going to change your oil level enough to even notice on the dipstick. So you can check it cold, you can run it if you want for 45 seconds, but if you do that, make sure you let it sit for at least another 30 to 45 seconds. We want all of that oil that's been pumped up around the engine to the top of the engine and things to drain itself back into the oil pan at the bottom of the engine. So make sure you let it sit first. After you've let it sit, we're going to pull the dipstick out. Now the dipstick is generally going to be either a yellow or an orange for oil. Now this is usually the case, not always. Most frequently you'll see a yellow dipstick. If you're unsure, you're going to need to check your owner's manual, okay? I don't want you checking the wrong fluid thinking your oil is full. Always consult your owner's manual. It's going to show you exactly the location, and it'll probably tell you even what the color of the handle is on your dipstick. But you're looking for yellow most of the time, sometimes orange. This is a Volkswagen European product. They like to do things a little bit different. We're going to pull the stick out. I want you to wipe it down completely from the top to the bottom. And I'd like you to clean, there's an O-ring seal here on the top. Clean that off as well. We're going to wipe it down. Once you have it wiped down, I want you to get in close and look at your marks on here. Once you have some dirty oil on there, it might be hard to tell where the marks are. This is the best time to take a look at it. There's going to be a minimum and a maximum level on there. Sometimes there are lines, sometimes there are dots. Sometimes in between the lines and the dots, you're going to see a little cross-hatch pattern with lines going this way and lines going this way. Generally speaking, the oil is supposed to be in between those two dots within the cross-hatch marked area. Okay, again, if you're unsure, your owner's manual is going to describe this for you, but almost all cars are going to look very similar to this. Some may have a dipstick that looks like this, a little flexible rope. Some of them may have a flat wand. None of that matters. All that matters is that you're doing this procedure exactly as I'm outlining. Pull it out, wipe this stick down completely, make sure your engine's been sitting for at least 30, 45 seconds. Then we're going to stick this thing all the way back in the dipstick tube, push it all the way to the bottom, let it sit there for a second or two, and then we're going to pull it back out. Now when you pull this out, you're going to try not to touch the bottom on anything, and you want to pull it flat as soon as you can. If you keep leaving it dangling like this, the oil may drain down a little bit. It might give you an inaccurate reading. So as soon as you get it out, flip it sideways. This way you have it lying horizontally, and then check your oil level. Now this particular vehicle, this is a great example. The oil is not even registering on the dipstick. I can tell you right now, just by looking at this car has got at least 2 quarts low. you should never be driving your car 2 quarts low. You should never be driving your car if you can't at least get a reading on the stick, okay? This is bad. This is just bad news. So we'll have to let this client know his oil is not even reading on the dipstick. He's clearly due for a service on here, probably overdue, and we might have to identify some reasons why his oil is low. After you've checked your oil, you can wipe it back off, make sure your stick is clean, and again, make sure this O-ring is clean on top, and you can put it back in. On this particular vehicle, if I were to add oil to this, there's an oil cap. It's usually located somewhere on top of the engine, and it usually has a picture of an oil can on it, or it'll just say oil, O-I-L. That is not the 710 cap. You want to flip that over. It says oil on it, okay? When you're taking this cap off, I would recommend to you that you take your rag first and just wipe everything off. Well, the last thing we want to do in this area is to knock any debris in the engine. So if we need to add oil here, I like to go around this whole area where we're going to add oil. We're going to take the cap off, clean it up a little bit, make sure there's no big gunk on there that's going to drop in the engine. And we'll take this cap off. You can wipe this off as well, and then we're going to add oil right in there. If your oil is reading low on the dipstick, you might be wondering what type of oil to put in there. It's always best to check your owner's manual. The manufacturer has specified oil they like to use in the vehicle. You might have a couple of choices. You can use either one of them. If you have a particular oil you've been using, a synthetic oil versus a conventional oil, I would recommend you just stick to whatever it is you've been using. It is okay to mix and match some of these oils. It's not going to destroy your engine or anything, but you definitely want to get it in and get it serviced as soon as you can. Get that stuff changed out. Put the matching oil back in. This way you've got everything working the way it's supposed to. If you've noticed your oil is low, like this particular vehicle, there's not a lot you can do probably on your own, but you want to take a look underneath the car and see if there's any large leaks anywhere. You might see a spot on the ground. You might see oil dripping off from underneath the car. Okay, these are good indications that something's leaking severely. Hopefully that's not the case. Maybe you've just overlooked checking your oil for a long period of time and it's run low over time. You're either going to have a leak or you're going to be consuming oil somewhere. So the next best thing you can do is just get it into your local mechanic, take it into the garage and have them inspect it for you. This particular vehicle we'll probably put on a lift, see if anything is leaking. We'll check the tailpipe, see if we see any obvious signs of smoking, which would indicate that it's consuming oil. If you're blowing any blue smoke out the tailpipe, that usually means it's oil, and that's a good indication that you're consuming it somewhere, and that needs to be inspected and diagnosed. All right, so one other thing I wanted to mention to you is when you're looking at your oil, I like to take a little sample here with my fingers if you can't see it clearly on your dipstick, and I want to see what it looks like. Oil should be a clear yellowy substance. Anything darker than that just indicates that your oil is getting dirty. So if you see it brown or even black, then you definitely need to service it. Oil should also have a particular smell to it. If you get used to checking it regularly, you can kind of get used to the odor of it. If you smell anything out of the ordinary, that might be an indication that you may have some contamination going on. So it's possible that you have fuel system contamination. It's possible you have coolant in your oil. Some other symptoms you might notice if you had coolant in your oil would be like a milky look to it, a frothy look almost. And those are indications you got probably a more serious engine problem. Either way, you need to get it into your local mechanic in the garage and have them take a peek at it for you. All right, guys, I hope I've given you enough information to check your oil confidently, to know how often you need to check it, where to put the oil, what kind of oil to put in it. Consult your owner's manual if you're unsure about any of that stuff. I hope you enjoyed this content. We've got more great videos coming for you. Check out this one here, and we'll see you in the next video.